Hello, this is Mark at Gary's Guitars in Portsmouth. I wanted to make this video. I made another. This is not exactly about guitars. This is going to be about a small business thing called cash. These days, cash is becoming less and less common, especially young people. It's so easy to process the card swipe that people prefer to do it. They don't want to have change in their pocket. They don't want to walk around with money. They don't want to think about it. However, there's a reason why when you go to pay for a cookie that costs $1 with your debit card, the person on the other side of the counter may grimace. And here's the math of it. The credit card companies used to do a very complicated job. You used to have to make a phone call to the credit card company. They had to they had to do some work and look through files, get an approval of that, give you an approval number. You had to write it on a form. That form had to have an imprint of the card. It had to have a signature. It had to have an itemized list. That imprint carbon paper thing had to get sent to the bank, had to be stored at a facility, and all that stuff was really time consuming. And so for this work, the bank asked for 3%. But now, roughly, actually probably initially more, but it's still 3%, roughly. 2.9 sometimes. Sometimes they play with the rates a little bit and say, oh, we'll give you a better rate if you pay 10 cents on the first dollar, and then 2.75 on each additional dollar. Whatever it is, the house makes the rules and the house always wins. And in this case, the banks who run the credit card companies have become the house. So they get 3% of everything when you run your card. Now, if you think of that, like a cafe that's selling a cookie for $1, and so that cookie sells for $1, and you just get 3 cents. Come on, it's 3 cents. Or sell your cookie for $1.03. But it doesn't work like that. We live in a quasi-capitalist society where the market sets the price. A cookie costs 3 cents. If you start charging credit card customers more, they start to get angry. Like, why do I have to pay more just because I'm using this card? So it's a conundrum for the small business owner because we want to take your money, but let's look at that. Let's talk about that cookie again. If you have a cookie that costs $1, then the way that the cafe business would work is the cafe owner would pay 30% of that would go to the labor costs, 20 to 30% would go to the food cost. Then you have your facility costs, keeping your heat, electric, gas, internet. You have to have internet for your cafe. All these costs keep building and building up, and then the cafe owner of that dollar cookie they sold, they only get about 15 cents in profit. So it's like, well, 15 cents. But now here comes that 3% again, because the credit card company gets 3% of everything. So that now it's not 3 cents on the dollar when we're talking about the profit of the company. It's actually 3 cents of the 15 cents profit, which is a lot of money. A lot of businesses. So let's say you have a restaurant, or even a small cafe, and let's talk about a guitar store, for example. If a guitar store, if $1,000 passes through the hands of a guitar store, if $100,000 in a year passes through the hands of a guitar store, probably 30,000 of that is profit. But the finance charges for that year would be thousands of dollars, enough to buy a nice vacation somewhere for a week. And the business owner sees this, and at the end of the year they see that, oh, I paid $5,000 in finance charges this year. You paid to the credit card company for the privilege of having the customer use their credit card rather than check or cash. So, business owners, it kind of hurts because it cuts into the profit. Because if that didn't exist, if you didn't have to pay that 3%, then that would be your money. But you did have to. Now, what's the solution to this? Well, there's innovative companies have come around to make these kind of peer-to-peer payment things and to make a new system that's not Visa, MasterCard, but it's a little more fair to represent what the credit card company is actually doing and what you're paying them. But they don't work. And when they come around, or they do work, there's something like Venmo. Venmo works so well that PayPal bought it and stopped it from doing anything more than just peer-to-peer payments, because Venmo could have just disrupted completely PayPal's operation. So, what's the answer? I don't know. Should you use your card to pay for a dollar's worth of something? Probably not. If you have to, that's fine. Sometimes I do the same thing. I use a card, when I have to. Oh, I got no cash. I'm sorry. You have to use a card. You don't have to say I'm sorry either. Just be aware of what's happening. Just be aware of when you go to buy. One day a woman came in to buy a pick. She's like, I'd like to buy a pick. And it's like, one pick? It's like, yeah, I just want one pick. And I didn't want to go into the lecture of these things get lost so easily and they get broken. Why not get 2 picks? There's 3 for $1, 35 cents each. She's like, nope, just one pick. I think she had a kid in her arms too, and so I was, she was busy. And she thought that her other son or something just needed one pick. So I was like, well, here are the picks. And she's, whatever. Okay, and this one's 35 cents. And then she takes out her card. And then not meaning to offend her, I was like, just take the pick. Because if we sell it for 35 cents, we paid 22 cents for it. The credit card company takes 10 cents of the first dollar. That means we're essentially not making money on it. And my impression at the time was like, oh, just take it. You're obviously flustered, and you have a baby in your arm, and you got other things on your mind, and I'm not going to make any money selling you a pick. Just take it. And she was kind of offended a little bit. She was, I didn't explain this story, but I was trying to tell her that I was actually just doing us both a favor by giving her the pick. But, having said that, I guess the summary is, use your card if you're using credit, use your debit card if you don't have any money on you, but try to be kind to small business owners and pay in cash when you can. And that's my rant for today. Thanks for watching. Next time we'll talk about guitars. See you later.